Jennifer Runyon at Intersolar North America in San Francisco. And my guest right now is Paul Detering with Tioga Energy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good. So there are so many companies out there providing PPAs. So how does Tioga compete with them, especially with some of the big names?
Yeah, it's a common. Our market, we're in the commercial sector. We do commercial PPAs, large commercial customers across the country. And we've been at it for 5 years, and we've watched the industry really evolve. And certainly there are a few players that are larger than the rest, but it's still a very fragmented market. We really differentiate to our customers. And increasingly, customers are understanding that there are some players who can really, some providers of PPAs who can really get the projects done, and others can't. We're in a position where we can, and we've got a good track record of doing that. And so increasingly our partners and our customers really see that, and I think that's what really sets us apart. We've got access to capital, project capital, that's not dependent on the 1603, and that's part of being able to execute.
All right, excellent. So what sort of market share does the company have?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's such a fragmented market. And it's still a very new market, so there isn't really a lot of data on that.
Right.
Clearly there's one or two players that are significantly have been at it longer and are big in the marketplace. And then I think there's a second tier of really good players that are all about the same size. We've seen a lot of growth over the last couple of 3 years. 200-300% growth year over year, and we're continuing to see that growth. So most of what we end up competing against, frankly, is against the grid, where the customer is looking for savings against what they're paying to the utility, and where they're looking for someone who they can trust for 20 years to really deliver it.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm glad you said, of course, the 20-year question, because when we were talking about panel manufacturers who are going out of business left and right, what happens when you've done a project and now the manufacturer isn't around anymore, and you need new panels because you need some warranty work done.
Yeah, so the starting point is to work with manufacturers who build a high quality product.
Right.
That's going to work for not only 20 years, because frankly the life of these panels is a lot longer.
Right.
And so you want to work with what is referred to in the industry as bankable panels. And part of bankability is not just the quality of how the panel is made and what materials are used, but increasingly sort of what the financial stability of the supplier is. And of course, in today's environment, what used to be viewed as very stable is not necessarily so. So it's an ongoing process of evaluating that. Having said that, if you have failures on modules, there are ways of replacing those modules, but from a warranty perspective, you'd rather do it with the same panels that you originally put in and have the manufacturer stand behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see the whole solar market going in the next few years?
Yeah, it's very simple, grid parity. I have a belief that today we're still in an environment in most places where we depend on various forms of incentives, whether it's a feed-in tariff in Europe or Ontario, or SREC markets on the East Coast, or the California Solar Initiative, the PBI program here in California, et cetera. And all of those are important because they've allowed the industry to grow to the size it is. But frankly, the real goal here is to get to grid parity, where we don't need those incentives anymore.
Right.
And as we get to grid parity, if those of us who have been in the industry for and watched it grow over the last 5 years, as we get to grid parity, the amount of changes we've seen in the last 5 years, the next 5 years we're going to see all of that and a lot more, because the volumes will really get big. We think they're big now. Wait till we hit grid parity.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll wait and see. Thanks so much, Paul, for coming out.
Thank you, Jennifer.